What's up, everybody? Another wonderful Monday night of Chewin the BBQ Fat that has not happened for a couple weeks, but we are back. We're ready. Baseball is finally over with for a month or two, right, Robert? A month or
That's
two,
right.
maybe.
I can't believe it.
Can't either. And now it's time to focus on barbecue. Oh, I can't wait. I love barbecue season. I finally get to feel like I'm back in. Oh no, Terry, the man himself, is on. How you doing, buddy? Like the page, share the page, get this out there to as many people as possible. Like and subscribe to our YouTube page. And hey, while you're at it, there's this old YouTube page. What's it called, Robert?
Whose YouTube page? Mine?
Yours.
Silly Barbecue Life. Maybe somebody will be starting some filming again soon here.
You never know.
Next few weeks. Who knows?
Man, I tell you what, Robert, it's like the old days. I figure it was a new start to the season again. And what better way to start off Chewin the BBQ Fat than having the original Chewin the BBQ Fat cast back together again?
Well, Trey Terry has called it because he says you couldn't find anybody else tonight.
Oh, I had like 4 people lined up.
He looked at the bottom of the list. There's Robert. But we'll put him on. Nobody else wanted to be here tonight.
I mean, whenever I'm looking for an all-star show, it's like I got to call Robert. I just got to get Robert on. And yes, the show is early. It was one of the stipulations to get Robert on was, hey, I'll start a little early for you. And so here we go.
Yeah. Don't they call that reasonable accommodation? He's accommodating the senior citizens in his life.
That's what I do. I do everything I can to accommodate you and everything else. What's up, Kenneth? How you doing? I know I'm not good, but good to see you. Is he coming to Greenwood?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not that I know of. Lex usually tells me the day before.
Okay, I got you. So anyway, Robert, I've been doing baseball. Everybody knows we've been doing baseball for a long time. Barbecue has been going on. I'm not real sure what's been going on in barbecue. And you've been out, from what I've seen, you've been out like being a Mr. Four-wheeler guy. What's been going on with you?
I'm telling you, our last comp was Honeybee, beginning of June. And we've been off since. Lex and I went to Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Was it last weekend, the weekend before? We went to the Bronco Off Rodeo right outside of Austin. And we went four-wheeling in their Broncos, not Lex's Bronco. But, man, what a great time. The weather was a little bit crazy because it's like 115 down there right now. And it was last weekend, too. So, but, man, we still had a great time.
So tell me a little bit about it. What'd you do?
Go ahead.
What'd you do? What was the craziest thing you did in a Bronco?
Oh my goodness, man! There was a bunch of crazy stuff. We went up some damn rock walls that I would never thought those things could go up. But going down some steep hills and going through water. I mean, we did everything. I tell you what, I have much more respect for the Bronco now than I did before. It does some things that her Jeep didn't do. That's for sure.
So, okay, let's get into the whole Jeep. We're getting the Jeep Bronco versus Bronco. I love it. Now, I'm pretty sure I know this answer, but who was driving?
That was all Lex.
I figured that. I knew Lex would be the one out there doing it.
Oh yeah, that was her. That weekend was about her, right? So she's put up with my hobby for the last how many years? So when she signed up for that, I said, "This is about you. This is your weekend." You know. So yeah, she drove the whole time, and I was fine because I had a great time anyway. In the passenger seat.
I mean, I saw pictures of this. He did send me pictures, so it did happen. I mean, they put these they put these Broncos. Excuse me. They put these Broncos into some incredible places, and it was awesome to see. That whole off-road thing is pretty awesome. Another crazy hobby that people get into. But our hobby, what we love. It's competition barbecue here on Chewin the BBQ Fat. I don't know about you, and you're going to lie about it one way or the other, but I am 100%. I cannot wait to get back out there and cook at Greenwood, South Carolina. And what makes it even better for me is we're cooking together as Chewin the BBQ Fat. So Robert and I get that opportunity again. And I tell you what, guys, it's so much about us hanging out, having fun. taking all the pressure off, just relaxing and going and cooking and enjoying competition barbecue is what it's all about for, at least for me, here next weekend and in Greenwood, South Carolina. I mean, I kind of feel like that's what's going on now as more people are trying to get back to that relaxing and having a good time in competition barbecue. But Robert, how excited are you for Greenwood? Why, if you have to?
I'm excited because I'm only cooking 2 categories. I'm only responsible for 2. And I get to wear that beautiful. You saw me at Sip and Swine, the beautiful pink salmon shirt.
It's orange.
That Ellen got me. Telling you, she must love me.
It is so orange. If y'all haven't seen it, it is an orange shirt. If you think it might be a pink or salmon, just go with orange.
Yeah. Just say nice orange shirt, Robert. No, we like it. We joke around about it, but it's all right. It doesn't bother me.
I can't wait. Lex will be there. It's going to be a good time. Same as a good color for you, Robert. Oh, Joel, are y'all coming? Are they coming? Is Kith and King coming to Greenwood? I'm not sure. I know
they're driving that far.
I know Politically Incorrect is coming. So we'll see. It's yes. But anyway, I was talking to my buddy Adam Dawkins this morning, Bad Rooster, and I was talking about cooking. I was like, man, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I'm sure I don't even know if I'm going to be able to cook and get everything turned in. I was like, the good news is I only have to cook and get ready for 2 categories. So it's almost like I'm easing back into barbecue. I do believe I got the 2 hardest meats, of course, pork and brisket. Everybody knows those are the hardest.
You chose those.
I did choose those because it's less work. You just throw them on there and let it go for a while. So, so what are you most excited about cooking, Robert, here at Greenwood, South Carolina?
I guess chicken, because I have not cooked ribs since Sip and Swine. So it's been a while.
You haven't cooked ribs since Sip and Swine?
No, on a drum.
On a drum. Okay. How come you're like frozen?
I don't know. I noticed that. You can hear me though, right?
I can hear you just fine.
Let's just keep it like that.
It's like you took a still video and you're staring at me, not talking. It's amazing. Ribs and pork are the hardest. There you go, Sailor Dick. Words matter, Robert. Yeah, so I did choose pork and brisket because basically I do what you do, and therefore we're basically cooking your cook. So it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a good contest. But if you have been following anything in barbecue, what have you seen or what have you heard that's going on in barbecue that you think is interesting?
Oh man, I haven't heard. I tell you what, I think today was the first time I've looked at the KCBS site since I don't know. It's been a while. It's because I didn't look. I looked at it right before we went to Lafayette, maybe the Honeybee, and I just looked at it today because I didn't want to come on here and look like a fool. But
like me,
I was looking at the top 10. And I was like, wow, look who's there. And I didn't realize who was even in that top 10. So
who is the top 10? I don't even know either. I'm with you. I'm like
Brad's back up there, and Rooters and Tutors and Janky Leg, all the usual suspects really that are out during that time. You got that, and I always forget their name. The guy that's usually out in the Carolinas, and he's been doing really well. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to look at my thing now.
Let me look. Well, since you're just staying there, what's going on, Matt? How you doing? Nick, glad to be back on. Yes, we're very excited. So you can buy pre-prepared chicken thighs from Mr. Brisket. That's pretty awesome. I tried that with my buddy out in Texas, and it smoking Scully's. Thank you, Trey. And holy smokes. I'm drawing a blank. It's been so long.
No, it's Off the Rack is up there. Fourth or thing.
Off the Rack. Now I thought Off the Rack was up in like the Midwest, Off the Rack barbecue. Thank you,
No,
Jason.
Off the Rack, and I can't remember the guy's name, but we met them in Wise, Virginia. They were right across from the Mexican restaurant.
Okay. Matt, Robert is frozen. We cannot figure out why he's frozen. It's like he's taking pictures instead of a video.
Hey, let me leave and then come back in.
Okay. All right. You go.
You got it. I'll come right back.
Hey, fix your name too while you're at it. Fix your Robert name too.
All right, I'll try.
All right. So anyway, yeah. So we got Getting Basted, Smoked and Furious, Janky Leg, Off the Rack, Uncle Pigs. I think he got a second. Roos and Tutors. Yeah. Good night, Trey. I love it. Now he'll come back. Trust me. He's going to come back. He wouldn't leave me hanging like that. But I'm telling you what, guys, I have missed my Monday nights. I've missed talking to y'all. I've missed just being a part of barbecue. I've literally been so deep into baseball that barbecue has just been on the back burner, which really sucks for me. But I'm glad that's back. I'm glad to be a part of it. And I cannot wait to get back out there. We'll be celebrating the 4th of July this weekend. Oh, he's back, baby. He's back. Look at there. Yes. Welcome back. Oh, man, I was hoping you'd come up with something different with Smoke Me Silly, but we'll take that. We'll take that.
What did you want it to be?
I don't know. The co-head fat chewer. I don't know. Whatever. But I can't wait. Barbecue is awesome. All right. So here's one thing that I've noticed, and I want to talk to you, Robert, and just see what your thoughts are on this and see if anybody out there has anything to do or believe if I'm just completely 100% wrong in this, which I probably am because it is what it is. Who is winning the game? Is it LSU winning right now or is it Florida? I don't know. I would love to find out. Are you guys going to do a class again this year? Yes, we will be doing a class again this year. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there this year. Robert is going to be helping me with the class. Robert will not be teaching a category this year. I am very upset, but I wanted to give him an opportunity. Just like I know everybody is going to be devastated that Robert and Lex will not be there. Well, no, they will be there.
We'll be there
helping, but they're not going to be doing one of the categories. So Robert and I, we've been friends forever. We try to do stuff together, and I wouldn't be able to do it without Robert. He helps me with everything. It's going to be an incredible class. I can tell you that there are things in the work for the class. I've got 3, I think, out of the categories finalized, but I don't have it all, so I'm not going to say anything. But that's that. That's where we're at with all that. But the class is going to happen. The class will be in January again. Same place. If you've missed it in the past, I'm telling you right now, I get this all the time. It sold out so fast. How come I didn't get to know about it? If you want to know about the class, watch this show. If you watch Chewin the BBQ Fat, we talk about it a lot. Share this page. Tell everybody about it. If you know anybody to watch this show, because this is where we release everything. And I know last year the show was pretty much sold out by the time the show was over. The next morning the show wasn't sold out. So that being, the class was sold out. So that being said, yes, it's happening. No, we don't have it set up yet. We are in deep works for the contest that's going on in November, the Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic. The Classic is coming on. We're getting people signing up every day. Don't forget, we're going to limit it this year to 150 teams total, which is incredibly big. I don't think we'll get that far, but so basically it's going to be open for anybody and everybody. And it's going to be awesome. 4 meats plus sides and sauces as usual. Can you get an answer of you guys' friendship? You guys seem almost like family. All right. So Robert, I'll let you start, then I'll fill in the gaps.
What's that?
I'm sorry. Sailor Nick says, can you give the origin story of you guys' friendship? You guys seem almost like family.
Lex and I were probably the first team that was sponsored by the original owners of the Atlanta Barbecue Store. And then came Brian and Ellen, and they bought it. And we were, again, the first team back on with the new owners. So that's how we met. We met in Young Harris, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was friends with Randy. Randy was friends with Robert. I felt like I knew Robert through Randy. But I will say at the time, Robert was like way up here, right? And I'm just like this guy that, and we introduced ourselves to them and let them know that, hey, we're the new owners. We appreciate y'all. We want y'all to be a part of us. Yeah, he came with a store. That's right. And I was like, hey, will you please stay on with us? I promise you, we're gonna make the store. We're gonna make the store better. We're gonna. I mean, at the time the store was struggling, right? I mean, we had some issues and all this other kind of stuff. But I told him, I was like, look, we really need you. We would love to have you be on board, and it just grew from there. That trust that he had in us, and that us and him led to us just hanging out, getting to know each other, talking all the time. And I leaned on Robert for a lot of information in all this because we didn't necessarily know what we were doing. And through that, we just realized how awesome Robert and Lex are. Incredible people. And not just in barbecue. Like if you know us, we joke around, we screw around at a contest as much as we do anything cooking, just having a great time. And then we through all this, we started the barbecue show, the Chewin the BBQ Fat. It all started out. I would do a Sunday night show. Just me and Ellen. We would do something about the Atlanta barbecue store. We'd have our own little podcast about products that were coming in. Because at that time, I mean, we were bringing in new products every day. It seems like, wasn't it, Robert? I mean, we were just boom.
New. That was early on, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was real early on. And then and at the time, there was a void, right? There was a void in competition barbecue podcast. There wasn't really anything. And Robert at the time, I think it was at that time, whatever you had that the MBT was part of that originally in the MBT thing that was going on with that. And we were just trying to get, we're trying to get competition barbecue out there and get it bigger and grow and do everything we can. And through that, it was so like, we just are friends. So, I mean, Robert tell you all the time, I tell him all the time, like, you're my best friend, like you're in barbecue, right? Like, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy them. And the other thing that we did, we went out to the Royal, cooked next to each other at the Royal, and we ended up getting up side by side, and just pretty awesome. And then we came up with an idea of Chewin the BBQ Fat, doing the team cooking together, and that was literally before Robert will tell you. I walked into their RV before we went to awards, and I said, Robert, I don't care how we do. This was the most fun I've had at a barbecue contest in my life. And he's like, oh, you're just saying that with high hopes. I was like, dude, look, I don't care what we do. And then y'all all know the story. Robert, of course, goes up there and wins chicken and wins ribs. And I'm sitting there like, they get calls.
You're the only one that won a category.
They get their calls and chicken and ribs. And I'm sitting there just like, oh my God, I've let Robert down. Especially after they call pork 10 through 2. And I just sat there like devastated, right? Cole looks at me.
10 through 2 and Brian's there, oh, I've let you down. Oh, you're not going to do this again with me. Next thing you know, he gets called for first.
With a 180, right? Like I get, and Cole, my son, looks at me and goes, Dad, you probably got 11th. You might have won. I was like, Cole, we didn't win. So then we win pork. And we go off and get brisket. And then we just looked at each other as we come back. We're like, did that just happen? Right? Like, I mean, we just sat there and y'all seen the video. I know Lex says it in here, or we have it in here somewhere. I mean, we just looked at each other. I mean, and it was so cool. And it's just like, so our friendship. And then we, like, both of us look at barbecue as like, hey man, this is awesome and a lot of fun. But that was cool doing it together. So I signed up for Greenwood. And he wasn't cooking. I was like, man, let's go do this again. Let's go have. So now we're cooking Greenwood. We're cooking Pusaku together. We're going back to the Royal and parking next to each other again. Like, it's just awesome. One thing I'll tell you, find somebody that you can hang out with, that you can talk to, that you can shoot stuff off of, and find somebody that you just trust. Once you find that, especially in this barbecue world and life in general, find somebody that you can just be friends with and trust and have a good time with, because that's what it's all about. To me, this whole barbecue thing is 100% about having a good time, hanging out, and people like Robert and Lex have made barbecue for us incredible. I mean, I'll never forget. I think we were in Lyons, Georgia, Robert had he squirts. He has an offset smoker with his champion, and he squirts that thing with water. Right, he's got his water gun. And Sarah, y'all all know Sarah. She's running around Robert, and he has her soaking wet, spraying her with his water sprayer, and it just wasn't. I mean, and to this day, Sarah is like, "Is Mr. Robert, Miss Les gonna be there? I'm gonna spray him, Dad. I'm gonna spray him." So if you see them like running around each other, it was pretty awesome. But yeah, Nick, I hope that answers your question. But like I say, Robert and Lex both are dear friends of ours. Um, they're incredible people. And like tonight, I called him out there. I texted him. I said, "Hey man, we're gonna get on there and just shoot the crap today and talk about barbecue because I haven't been to barbecue. I don't know what's going on in barbecue. Let's just go have a good time and talk." And here we are. We're having a good time. And once again, I'm doing all the talking, which kind of made the original Chewin the BBQ Fat. I'm not good at agendas, so I kind of laid that down. What's up, Dean Henry? How you doing? Doug, 10-2, going to the bottom of the fourth. Wow. Looks like so as bad as LSU got beat the other day, it looks like they're trying to do the same thing to Florida tonight. College World Series going on. If anybody's asking, that's what we're talking about. So Robert, all right. So back to what we're seeing in barbecue and what Nick just asked. Robert was super cool to me last year. I thank him for being the first person that talked to me about barbecue at the ABC. Yeah, man. If Sailor Nick, Robert, I think he was parked over there. Well, no, he wasn't near you, but he was there early from Philadelphia. I'm pretty sure. I think, and just really cool. Yeah. So Robert's going to talk to anybody.
Yeah, I think he was Indiana, but I can't remember. He was somewhere up there.
Yeah, it was his first.
Obviously, I had to ask. So I mean, he was in the Navy, so that's
Ohio.
I'm retired Navy as well. So
there you go. That's right. That's right. Yes. What's up, Kenny? How you doing, bud? All right. So the thing I wanted to talk about real quick, what I'm seeing in barbecue right now is kind of a turn back to what barbecue was like when I first got into it. I feel like we're seeing teams instead of traveling all over, it seems like teams are trying to get a little bit more centralized to their location and trying to cook more close to home, or at least cook contests that they like more so than cooking every contest that's around. And when they're at that contest, I feel like they're still trying to get back to the hanging out tailgate style things that were going on in the past. Is there any truth to that, Robert, or is that just something I'm seeing?
I don't know. I don't. I mean, I don't know that I see that. I mean, there's always those people you hang out with and talk to, and but I don't think that's changed at all. I know for me, living in Alabama, this year we've cut back quite a bit. I just haven't been feeling the itch to get out there and compete, to be honest. And I'm starting to see the signs, especially in my state. Everything that's coming up that's new and everything that was old is all turning to backyard. We already knew Alabama had a lot of backyard contests, but Whistle Stop said they were canceling Huntsville, and now they're back. Guess what? They're only backyard. We got like 3 or 4 new contests in Alabama, and guess what? They're all backyard. So that's the problem right now. I mean, obviously I can't go backyard. I would love to just go back and cook ribs and chicken and hang out with people, but can't do it.
That's what I was going to say. It's like you can't go by saying you're only going to be backyard, you're really limiting what people can and can't do in barbecue, right? Like, I mean, so basically whatever, it's almost like giving a big screw you to the barbecue teams that are in Alabama, and not worry about it. Like, why would you do? And I know why they're doing it, and there's whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but it's like there's certain people in Alabama and barbecue that have a high up there that are doing everything they can to make it all backyard, and that's fine and dandy, but it's not fair to all the other teams that are in Alabama. It's almost like you're saying, I don't want y'all here. We're going to start over. Because don't do backyard. Do the 2 meat categories. You don't have to be a what's it called? It's not backyard. I think they have another name for it. But it's just do the 2 meat category. and everybody can cook it. Still do your chicken and ribs or whatever they want to do, but just don't make it be a what is it called? It's not the Master Series. It's the other series, competitor series.
Oh yeah.
And just stop with that and be able to go out and cook. I don't know. I can't wait. Chad, can't wait to see you, buddy. Sorry, Chad Stewart. Gonna be good to see y'all.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, competitor series. Um, you know, all right. I love backyard teams. So let's just start right there. I've been accused by another barbecue store here in Georgia that I don't like backyard teams. That's not true. I love backyard teams. I think backyard teams are a very integral part in what we do as barbecue. I think they're very important. I love that. I think their desire and their effort and everything else that they have is second to none. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I think backyard barbecue is wonderful. I wish more teams would get into it and start in backyard and just ease their way in and do that. For me, there was no real backyard way of getting into barbecue, so that's why I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But Joe Welt says, I thought the original intent for backyard was supposed to be a launching pad for pro side. I did too. And why, Robert, we've had this discussion. We really like, I want to have a show, and Robert will tell you this. We've discussed this that like we want to have a show, and Robert wants to be a part of it, where we discuss how backyard teams make the transition from being a competitor series into the master series, or whatever you want to call it, backyard to pro, however, whatever that is, and what that looks like, and what makes people decide to make that change. Because we have seen, I want to say the team that won the Washington, D.C. contest had just made that jump from
really
the competitor
yeah,
series.
I wasn't familiar with that name. So,
well, I heard the guy say, and I don't know who it was, so I apologize. No disrespect to everyone, but I heard him say, brand new into the competitor series, and the whole place went wild, right? So, I mean, I love that. It's. What do you think, Robert? I'm going to just let you talk for a second. Because
I'll be honest with you. Like I just said about the issue with our state in Alabama, everything's backyard except for a couple contests, and I think we're close to losing those as pro on the pro side. I wouldn't be surprised if they all went backyard at some point.
Who is this? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
What's that?
Who do you think we're going to lose?
I don't know. I mean, I think Demopolis is usually in December, and they have struggled getting pro teams because that's after the point season has already ended. And not many teams are competing that time of year. They were when we used to go point season through the end of the year. That used to fill up, but not anymore. So, and I know certain forces in Alabama are trying to push them into going backyard only. They've already done it with Whistle Stop, and there's probably, I don't know if Gadsden will eventually go that way, but you see it all the time. I mean, the backyard fills up the quickest there.
I mean, Georgia's the same way. We have a lot of backyard teams in Georgia also. But we don't, I can't think of one single backyard contest we have in Georgia. I don't know if we have any that are just strictly backyard.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Competitors.
Well, that's because you don't have, like, if somebody goes to KCBS and says, I want to have a contest, there's not somebody there saying, oh, just start with a backyard contest. That's right. What you want to do. That's our issue with Alabama. We have a force. We have people in Alabama suggesting to those people, start with the backyard and stick with that, which they might not be off base there. I mean, Alabama's always been mostly backyard teams. And everybody argues they should go to pro, but I don't necessarily agree with that either. I think there's a whole cost issue. There's a time issue. There's a group of people you're hanging out with for several years as a backyard team. And guess what? If you go pro, you're not hanging out with them as much anymore. You're not in the same area or whatever.
Right.
There was a team that transitioned to pro maybe early last or late last year. I won't say their team name, But I was talking to one of them this past couple weeks. I said, dude, I said, you should not. They haven't won anything. I said, they're still qualified to stay as backyard. I said, stay as backyard unless you're willing to travel 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, with the 3 new contests backyard that are close to me, I said, you're nuts. I said, I would, unless your specific goal is to qualify for the Jack. And
Which
go
we'll
there.
get into in just a second, Andrew. We'll get into the Jack in just a second, but keep going.
Yeah, unless your goal is to qualify for the Jack or qualify for the Royal or whatever. I mean, that's and even with that, you can still go cook the Open, I guess.
Right.
Now, if you win it, you're screwed. You're going to go to pro, but I mean, that's why my advice to them is I wouldn't. If you want to stay close to home and cook in your state, then I recommend you don't bother.
In Alabama.
Yeah, in Alabama. Other states don't have the same issue we do.
Like Georgia, I made the opposite argument in Georgia because in Georgia, we only have like 10 or 11 contests, maybe 12 contests. I don't know. But of those, only 4 or 5 have backyard. So if you're going to do that, you're limiting yourself to how many times he can cook or how many times he can do anything. So, I mean, I think kind of if you look at where you live, look what's going on and find out what there is. In Georgia, you have the GBC, which you have points category, like you have a points chase in backyard or pro. So you have that opportunity, right? Like you can do what you want to do. I think in Georgia, we have an incredible environment for competition barbecue. You can cook pro, you can cook backyard, you have points chases in pro and backyard. You have enough opportunities to go and cook enough contests around us in the Southeast. If you want to chase points for KCBS, that is an opportunity. But so there's plenty of opportunity for you to figure out what's going on. And I agree 100% with you, Robert. Like if you live in Alabama, why go pro? You can't cook anywhere. You have to travel all over creation. And now all of a sudden it's getting to the point to where you're pushing people out of competition barbecue. And then somebody like you or a lot of those other teams that were back in the day, they can't cook anymore because they have to come to Georgia or North Carolina or Tennessee or South Carolina or Mississippi or heck, you're going to Arkansas and Illinois and places like that to go cook, just because you have to do it. So, all right. Okay, so Andrew, Matt Goodman, say that one more time.
Honestly, I wish they would just, I know it's not going to happen, but I wish they wouldn't have that separation. Why have pro and backyard? Just have barbecue cooks, right?
Right.
We go do a barbecue comp. Because there are definitely guys in backyard in Alabama that are cooking at the pro level. Like no matter where you're at, no matter what category, pro or backyard, there's people that are awesome all the time and there are people that are not so good and they're just starting out, right? So it is what it is. But if you just got rid of that dividing line and just made it a barbecue contest where anybody can come cook,
right,
then you wouldn't be pushing anybody out. But
right, and I think that's the thing. Like at some point in time, give like you're cooking ribs and chicken, throw them into the ribs and chicken team of the year points and let it roll, right? Like if you want to chase for the team of the year points. We'll cook all 4 categories and go chase team of the year points and get in the middle, get in the conversation for grand and reserve. If not, whatever. So like I said, I love backyard. I think they're great. I love what they do. I love at our contest. I mean, it is incredible. Just listen to them and how much enthusiasm and everything else they have for barbecue. It's second to none. So please don't misinterpret me for what I'm saying. I love that. I think they're great. I feel bad in a roundabout way that there's not an easy conversion or easy way to make it work. Like,
yeah.
So, all right. So the question was asked, Brian, A9 or Snicker Farms, no brainer. That's for me. All right, Andrew Wright, if you guys have time, can you explain the qualification process for the Jack? I've heard so many different versions. I don't know how it works. And then I've heard a lot of different stuff in there. Robert is a pro. Robert is a Jack junkie. He goes all the time. I mean, the guy is incredible. There are quite a few ways to get into the jack. So, Robert, I'm going to let you go ahead and explain, if you can, the best way to get in the jack.
I don't know that I know all of them, but the basic requirement is you got to win a contest.
Right.
Right. You got to win a contest. In order to get a bung in the draw, you got to win a contest.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily need to be in your state. It could be in any state. I think, what is it? If you were last year's winner at the jack, you automatically come back. Yeah, I think if you win the Royal, I think that's still, you are an automatic.
I think it's an automatic.
If you're in a state with only one contest, you're automatically going to get drawn, right? If there's only one contest. There are a few states that are like that.
Every state is represented, right?
That's right.
So every state has a representative for the jack. And if you get 7, old number 7, if you get 7, you get an automatic. So if you win 7 GCs in a 4-meet contest, you get in, correct?
Yeah.
So we'll get into that in just a second. So every state has a contest. If you win a contest, that state, every state contest winner goes into a draw. They pull it out. At the end of the day, once they pull all the states out and a certain state is not represented, say in all the Georgia contests, somebody from Alabama wins, South Carolina wins, Illinois, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Nobody from Georgia wins, then they will put all the Georgia teams into a thing and pull out a bung from there. So that team will represent the state of Georgia. So every state has to be represented. So, Robert, I want to say you won last year because you were the only Alabama team to win a grand last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, but our bung was true. But our bung was pulled out from Tennessee. So
right. But you
if our bung didn't get pulled out from a different state, and they got to the end, and guess what? There's no other Alabama teams except for us that won. Then we would have been one bung in a bag, and they would have said, "Oh, well, they got it."
Right. And it's not just KCBS. It's KCBS, FBA. Right. There's a couple other.
I don't know if it's IB. I think it is IBCA too.
I think it's anybody with a 4-meet category. Somebody on here can explain it. And then I see on here Memphis and May winners get it. If you win your open.
Sorry, I forgot about them.
CBA, Joel says. Yeah. So it doesn't have to. INCA. I don't know who that is. Maybe that's IBCA. So I think it's any 4-meet category sanctioned event. So there's certain ones that are sanctioned. And it goes like our buddy Bill Purvis with Chicken Fried. I think he got his 7, but he had some KCBS, he had some CBAs, he had some IBCAs. He might even had a BCA in there. I don't know. But there's a lot of different sanctioning bodies that you can get into it. But the whole thing is they want every state represented. So if you don't get your name, if your state isn't represented, anybody that's won a grand in that state goes in there and they will pull it out so that each state is represented. Is that correct, Robert?
Yes. Lex and I have actually been to the draw. You can actually go to the draw. You just contact Jack Daniels and they'll let you come and witness it, and then not just witness it, but you partake. Like you're one of the active people where you get to draw out of one of the bags. They actually put all the stoppers or the bungs in paper bags. Of course, I think Texas is in 2 paper bags. But yeah, so they'll actually go around the room to whoever's there if you're participating, and they'll have you take part of actually pulling for certain states or whatever.
Right. Matt, no, it has to be, like you said, it has to be a Master Series. Has to be a Master Series.
Yeah, they used to have backyard there.
Shade tree.
But shade tree, but
So if you hear anybody talking about the shade tree, that was the backyard thing, and that was a huge deal of why people stayed in backyard, right? And I get it. That was a reason to stay there. So, and I don't even think that. I think anybody could go cook that, right?
Yeah, and you just had to sign up, and they just pulled names. You didn't have to win. You have anything, but
Yeah. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for the question. Wes Garrett is on. Robert, that guy. I call him. Hey, yeah, I'll be on. Doesn't show up. Just leaves me
I
hanging.
know,
Did you see
man.
that the other day? Left me hanging. Called him today. I was like, man, we got a great show going on tonight. Me and Robert, we'd love to have you on. He's like, you know what? I have zero time for y'all. I would rather watch college baseball than talk with you and Robert about baseball.
Oh man.
So my man Wes
Wes
Garrett,
used to like me once
he did.
before,
Me
a long
too.
time ago. Not anymore though.
He's big time. He's big
I
time
know.
with us.
I know he is.
I felt awful. He won the grand, and I didn't have a contest, so I wanted him to come on so we could talk about it, and nothing.
I know.
Just said, screw you, Brian. I got bigger shows to go do. And he did. And that's what happened. So my man Wes Garrett, glad to see you on. You don't like me. Well, I mean,
Hey,
Bill,
Bill.
he's big time in all of us. Hopefully, hey Bill, if you're on, can you just explain how you got your 7 for the Jack draw? So we could talk about that, because that was just a discussion that we just had. Anyway. All right, Robert, what else do we have to talk about? I told you this was going to be a fun show, and this is going to be a lot of stuff. Who needs an agenda when we have the best audience in the world sitting here watching, asking questions for us? You know?
There's about 40 comments per second that are about to start now that Wes is on.
Yeah.
He has a quota to keep.
That's a quota to keep. Oh, I know him and David. They're just sitting back and forth texting each other right now. Like, man, these two guys. Oh,
well, earlier, I know Brian was talking about us teaming up for this next contest in Greenwood. I tell you what, I definitely highly recommend if you're in a situation where you can't afford doing as many contests with the 4 meets, team up with somebody you know and cook a contest. I mean, the one thing I liked about Sipping Swine, like he said, there was no expectations, right? I was cooking on ribs on a drum, which I've only had ever done once before. So I definitely had no expectations. Except for Ellen. She came into the motorhome. She says, what? You better win this, else the friendship's over, mister.
She's mean.
No, she didn't say that. But yeah, no expectations. And I think that's the best part about it. We went in there. We had a good time. We didn't care how we did. And when you do well, it's like, holy crap. Didn't see that coming.
Robert was like, oh, man. He did. He brought up a little bit. He was doing a good. He didn't screw. He didn't completely embarrass me. So there was always that, which I did. I did get more points, right, Robert?
You did. You did. You did.
It will never, ever happen again. But it was all.
But if I know there are a lot of people out there that take it really serious, man.
Oh,
you see it all the time. If they finish the contest, and I won't mention any names, I've seen quite a few out there where at the end of the contest they don't do as well, and they're pissed off, blaming everybody else, and they don't want to talk to you. They're just go back to their trailer, and you never hear from them until the next day, right? Because they're over it by then. But they take it so serious. And I'll be honest. I mean, there's been some years where we're points chasing, and I'm like, I could tell we were taking it more serious, and I felt we weren't doing as well when we got that way. So really, when you're comfortable or you're not as stressed out about it, and you just go and enjoy cooking, which is why you got into it in the first place.
Yeah.
I understand certain people are competitive and they want to do well. Well, duh, we all want to do well. And we're all willing to do a little bit more to get to that point, but you can't forget why you started doing it, right? You did it to enjoy it. You enjoy cooking barbecue. And that's what it's all about.
And look, I'm going to piss off a lot of people, and I don't, whatever. It's what I'd like to do on this show. Robert always gives me a hard time. Enjoy it. Go out and enjoy it. As soon as a contest is over, don't look to blame judges. Don't look to blame seating charts. Don't look to blame something else. I mean, my goodness. if it wasn't for the seating content, the way this thing was receding, you probably wouldn't have won in the first place. Like, whatever. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Don't get so caught up in everything. This is what we do. It's been working. I'm telling you, I say it all the time. The best always rise to the top, and you're seeing it again. So just go enjoy yourself, because if not, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. And it is what it is. That's just me. Whatever. It's my spiritual gift, pissing off people. But the judges are not there, and I'm about to. They're not there to piss you off. I promise. They're there because they think they're doing their good job, and they're doing what they think, and they're having fun, and they do it as they love barbecue as much as we love barbecue. So, I mean, anyway, that's neat. That could get in a lot of trouble. Who is on the verge of getting 7? Anyone sitting on fire? I have no clue. Wes has a great question. Let's see.
You had a great question.
Yeah, that's a shocker. Let me come back to that. All right. We're both cooking the same contest. I mean, the same meats, Kenny. Matt asked, do you see a shift in rubs, AI in barbecue, and a 10 only kind of thing? I'll answer the shift in rubs thing. No, same stuff. But I'll let you talk about AI, because you're more into that kind of stuff than I am.
Oh, I don't know about that. But yeah, going back to the rub thing, how you saying it's not shifting? It definitely isn't shifting. Same stuff that people have been using for how long, right?
Forever.
Simdocs and what's the other one?
Smoking Guns Hot.
Smoking Guns Hot.
If there is,
you just get those 2 rubs, you're good to go.
Those 2 rubs, if you put a variation of those in there some way, some special form, you got it. I mean, It is what it is. They had a family reunion in Kentucky this weekend. If you get an uptick in Kentucky sales, thank you, Joel. I appreciate that. I just want to meet everyone, enjoy the stories everyone has. And that's one thing that, Nick, don't ever forget that. Just talk to people and listen to the stories and everything. It's awesome. Robert's even left a comp early and not going to awards and took GC. Well, Lex at least. Robert, that's not something you do. You had Lex there. You knew Lex was there, and you knew he called me. He called me and he was like, look, I just smoked this contest. I'm out.
You know that I never said that.
I'm just kidding. Robert would. He called. He's like, man, I felt terrible. It's awesome.
No, I had to get to the campground before it closed. So,
yeah, I'm with you, Kenneth. If you win, it's a bonus. All right. So Wes's question that everybody wanted to know is, where did it go? I was way up here. Well, okay. One question for Robert. What is there left for you to accomplish to make you enjoy barbecue again? That's a great question, because y'all, if y'all don't know, Robert, and he is the most humble dude in here. He is one of the most incredible barbecue cooks that is in. He's won a ton. He's won a ton of contests. His numbers are incredible. I have more people be like, man, I looked up Robert and Lex on barbecue data, and their numbers are just staggering how good they are. He's done everything. He's an incredible cook. He won't say it. He's gonna be like, oh no, but I mean, the guy is good. They have accomplished everything in barbecue. So what is it in barbecue that you feel like you need to accomplish to make you enjoy barbecue again?
I don't think there's anything that I need to accomplish to enjoy it again. It just, especially I noticed both times that we've only ever really chased points to a high extent. I mean, competing in like almost 40 contests twice. We did it in 2018, and we just did it last year. Traveled all over the place. Like I said, not much in Alabama. So we were in Omaha, Nebraska. We were in Oklahoma City. I mean, people like Paul and Lynn with Rooters and Tutors do this all the time. And second, they do that every year. But we're not used to that. And man, by the end of the year, I remember back in 2018, we had chased points on about 40 contests. And early on in 2019, I had asked Darren Worth, I was Smokey D's in early 2019. I said, have you ever done a points chase and just been tired and not want to do this anymore. Of course, he said no. He never felt like that. But I know they've scaled back quite a bit, but they've accomplished a lot more than we could ever dream of. But man, it's a lot. It's a lot to drive all over the country, weekend after weekend. It becomes a job if you're chasing points. And for those chasing points, it's okay. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I just couldn't do it every year because I'll say it. I've always said it, and I'll say it again. Chasing point is a rich man's game. If you look at most of those people that are in that top 10, they're all own their own businesses, or they're in a great situation where they work for somebody where they don't have to worry about it, or they're retired. One of those three.
Right.
Otherwise, and they got to have some money. I mean, you're not winning all the time. So you've got to have the funds to be able to compete week in, week out and buy that $300 brisket.
And time. I mean, not only do you have to have fun, you have to have time and everything else.
Oh, exactly.
It's amazing. I mean, it's not easy. It's not, there's, I mean, because I remember talking to you, you were tired. You were done. To the point where you asked me, we were talking about you doing classes, and you're like, you know what? I think I'm just going to do class, and you did the 3 classes, and then not only that, you burnt yourself out on classes.
Yeah.
But it was one of those deals where it's like you got to be all in, and I think Brad has even said it on here. He's like, it's hard to do every year. You almost have to say, this is my year to go run, and at the end of it, you take time off or you see what happens. That's what's so crazy about Brad. Like he doesn't chase, and he's still chasing.
Yeah. But Brad would probably be more apt to chase than we would 2 years in a row because one, he's good, like you just said, but barbecue is his business. I mean, you got to have a love for barbecue, whether it's competition or your business. I'm not saying I don't love barbecue, but
you do.
There's other parts than cooking. I mean, I love cooking at home. I got 4 or 5 grills sitting out on the porch. So I love cooking. It's just the traveling so far and the money. I'm telling you, we spent so much money last year.
Right.
Like I said, you got to be able to afford it. And after the year ended and we looked at it, we're like, holy crap, we got to stop this. So I think really, you're a points chaser or you're somebody that maybe can't compete as much, and your goal may be just to win a major, right? Yeah. That's something that we've never done. Like we've never won a major. I would love to do well at the Royal. I would love to do. We've done well at the Jack a couple times, been in the top 10 or the top 5, and that's been great. So I think we're going to start slowing down, and I think I wouldn't mind winning a major, or if you go only compete in 5 or 6 contests a year and you win contests, a couple of those, you're doing well.
So how disappointed would you be if Chewin the BBQ Fat won a major?
That would be pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be bringing you down.
Are coming out. Here we go.
Bringing you down, but
is Ellen behind the camera?
she's like, say whatever. I mean, we've got all the expectations for sure. All right, this has been awesome. All right, so Bill asked, "Is anybody? He's that 7. Bill, I think, is the only one that's at 7 right now. So he's wanting to ask, is anybody even close to how good he is? And I don't think there is. I mean, Wes Garrett's not even. I think he's got 1, which is hilarious. If you saw the comments in here, he said he has 6 to go, and he said, "Are you sure it's not 7?" But anyway, that's awesome. Jordan, I do believe, is getting close. How many is Jordan? I don't know how many Jordan is at, but he's probably getting close.
Oh, no.
I think Jordan's at 5. So Jordan's got 2 more. And somebody asked way up earlier when the points was over. The points is over October 31st. November 1st is the beginning of the new series or new whatever, the new year.
Yeah, and then the Jack qualification ends July 31st.
July 30th, yeah, because I think the draw is in like first weekend of August.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So the draw for Jack or the Jack draw or whatever is over in July. The KCBS points is over in November 1st or whatever. And if you want your opportunity, Chris Webb is sitting at 6. All right. Thank you, Levi. So there's another one, Bill. You might have some company here pretty soon. Last year there were 3 teams that auto into the Jack, right, including the winner. I guess I don't know. I should know all this stuff, but baseball has consumed my life for the past 4 or 5 months, so I don't know. But it's been pretty interesting. Charles, how you doing, my man? Hope everything's well with you. It looks like you had a good time up there in Washington D.C. cooking. Good times, man.
Congrats to him. He recently had a win, didn't he? A couple weeks ago.
Way to go, bud. And Robert, have you been able to watch it on Cooking Channel, Food Network, one of the two? I don't know which one it is. The new Barbecue USA show that's coming on. I think it's really neat. I mean, it's like he's done a spin-off of the 2 shows, whatever the other show was. He's got a new show now. I mean, it's really cool. But I saw Charles on there the other day. Pretty neat. Schaefer Auto, and he's Barbecue Country.
Barbecue Country, yeah, channel.
That's a different show. That's a different one. That's the one with like some other teams. I don't know what even channel that one's on.
Yeah, I think Tina's on that one.
Tina and John Kuhn and some of those guys. Yep. That's a little different one. Anyone cooking the one in Virginia next week? I'm not. Which one's in Virginia? I don't know. It's one in Virginia. Not real sure which Virginia contest that is, but it sounds like it's going to be a really good one. Matt, are you cooking it? Hope you are. How have you talked to Paul, Robert? Have you talked to Paul and Lynn? I know Ellen talked to him today. They got a big reserve last week. That was pretty awesome.
Maryville, yeah.
Maryville, Swinging Pig coming in there and killing it. Barbecue will not go past the first season. Wow. Okay, Matt. Thanks, bud. Maybe it'll get some traction. Maybe it'll be good. We need some of this stuff to take off. Mid-Atlantic isn't for me ever again. Levi, that's awesome. Where is your favorite place to cook, Levi? Coming from Colorado, I know you're all over the place. What's your favorite place to cook? Speaking of that, Robert, where's your favorite place to cook?
My favorite place to cook is wherever you're cooking, Brian Jarvis.
Amen.
Wherever Chewin the BBQ Fat's cooking, that's my favorite.
That's me too. It's gonna be South Carolina next week. It's gonna be Alabama the couple of weeks after that. It's gonna be. Hey, Sarah, how you doing? You want to say hey to people? You want to say Mr. Robert's on? You want to say hey to Mr. Robert? Oh Lord, Robert, here comes Sarah. Say hey. Look right here. Look right here in this thing. Look right here.
Hi, sweet Sarah.
You say hey.
Hi.
There's she's on. She misses everybody. Are you ready to go to a barbecue contest? Yeah. What are you gonna squirt Mr. Robert with a squirt bottle? Yes.
Yes. Look at her.
It's gonna be awesome, isn't it? Are you gonna get him soaking wet? Yes. Awesome. All right. Night night, baby girl. Love you. All right. Sarah loves her some Mr. Robert. It's awesome. She was very excited to see you there, Robert. Yeah, Michael Simon's show is the best one right now. Yes, I agree 100%, Nicholas. That's the one. I feel like he has 2 shows that are 2 in 1. I'm working on trying to get him to come on. I'm going to try to interview him, do an interview with him. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Should be fun. California is his most exciting place to cook, is Levi's. I don't think I've ever cooked. We were going to go cook in California last year, or was it this year?
We were talking about going out there and do one of the contests and borrowing some equipment.
That's right.
That was last year, but baseball got in the way again.
Imagine that.
Telling you.
Freaking baseball. There was a question earlier about July. Why are there no contests in July? Because it's hot. I will tell you this. There is talks of the Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic going to July of next year. There is talks of the Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic being in July of next year. We'll see. I think it'll be easier to get going. He is such a nice guy. His barbecue restaurant, Mabel's, has some great sauce. Awesome. Never been. So Robert, as we wrap up tonight, yeah, you got it, Joel. Quick turnaround. I'll take that. Yes. Y'all are July in Georgia. Yes. I know. Washington Island, Wisconsin. Washington Island, Wisconsin. Is that Wisconsin? Is that Iron Man thing?
No, that's the one on the island.
Oh, that's where everybody has to take that ferry over.
Yeah, where everybody takes the ferry. That sounds like a good Chewin the BBQ Fat locale for next year.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean,
August. When does baseball start again? August 1st. We're screwed.
No, I don't think I've already told Micah's team, my team that I help a coach. I was like, look, my September is a little iffy, so we need to be careful with September and October because we've got back to back. We got the Royal and we got Pussyq.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm gonna go up there and watch you cook the jack because you just do that.
There actually is another team that has a bung from Alabama. They cooked a different kind of contest though, not a KCBS. I think it was a CBA or whatever it is.
Okay.
So we're not a shoe-in this time.
Come on, Robert. I need you to pull through. Am I cooking 17th Street? I'm gonna go with a no on that. I've heard great things about 17th Street. Robert, you've cooked that before, haven't you?
You're talking about Murfreesboro. Yeah.
That's Murfreesboro? Okay,
yeah.
That's the Apple place.
I believe so.
That's the one, right? That's where you went before the Royal last year, correct?
Yeah.
Are you doing that again?
No, I'm not doing it. I'm telling you, we scaled back a lot this year. We're lucky if we hit 15, maybe by the end of the year.
I'm hoping for 6.
Yeah.
Mabel's is in Cleveland and in Las Vegas. I'm going to Las Vegas soon. That'd be cool. Barbecue USA. Yes, please. Praise the Lord is the week before. And
yeah.
So Praise the Lord is at 17th Street and Murfreesboro.
Yeah. Murfreesboro is Praise the Lord, and it's put on pretty much by 17th Street Barbecue.
Okay. That was a lot of rounding around to
same organization.
I got you. Some of the best trophies in barbecue, 17th Street apples.
Yeah.
Yep. I know Carrie's got an apple or two. Do you have an apple, Robert? Didn't you get one last year?
I do.
I do.
Hold on. You don't look the best.
Look at that. You got 3 apples. 4 apples. How many apples was that? I'm hoping to get 8 this year and 10 contests next year. Nicholas, just make sure that at least one of those is the Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic. So anyway, Murphy, Kith and Ken is going up to some of the best trophies, blah, blah, blah. See, awesome. Y'all are the best. I have missed Chewin the BBQ Fat, the show on Monday nights. Robert, if you cannot tell, he has definitely missed being a co-host on this show. If you would love to see him co-host this show with me and bring others in so he can help do this with me, you just let me know and we will make sure that this happens, because I'm telling you, we can make it happen. He is a great host. I'm a great co-host to him. That we would have a ball doing this, and it would be a lot of fun, because the vision for barbecue that he has is second to none. He knows exactly what's going on in barbecue. He's just amazing. So please get him in there, get him coming back on Chewin the BBQ Fat as much as possible.
I have one requirement though.
An agenda.
I want an 8:30 start in my contract. 8:30 Eastern.
You've got it. It is a done deal. You heard it here. If he said if we start at 8:30, it's going to happen. I'm good at 8:30. Helps me out now that baseball's over.
David says show will start at 6. He knows.
Exactly.
I eat dinner at 3 p.m. So that'll work.
Oh man, how's Lex doing? Everybody
Lex is doing well.
Great.
She's going to bed early too, so she's already asleep probably.
She's done. She's not even. I haven't even seen any comments from her. I normally at least get a comment or two.
No.
Richard, I do not know the numbers. Ellen keeps up. I know it sounds terrible. Ellen keeps up with all of our stuff. So she is the best. Agenda and an 8th. So how was this? All right, we're done. Thank y'all, everybody. We have a great time. So Robert, I have to ask you this question. How was it doing the show tonight with no agenda? Did you enjoy this?
Yeah. It was all right.
Do you wish there was an agenda?
plenty of questions and commenters. That helps, right?
So no agenda. You're good with that.
Well, it depends. If we had a guest on, we'd have to do an agenda, right?
Yeah, we would have to
do a little research, have the right questions asked.
So before we go, I'm going to ask everybody right now, next week when Robert and I do Chewin the BBQ Fat, which probably is not, golly, I feel terrible. That's the week before, that's July 4th. Who do y'all want to see Robert and I interview first here on Chewin the BBQ Fat? I know my pick, but I'm ready to hear what y'all think. And Robert, who would you, if you had a choice, who would it be?
Easy. Can you guess who it is?
Wes Garrett.
You got it, buddy.
Yes.
You got it. If I can interview Wes Garrett, man,
it's good. It's it.
I could quit barbecue right after that. I'd be done.
That's your answer to his question. What could you do?
What could you do to get me into barbecue again? That's it. Wes Garrett interview.
Interview Wes Garrett. I will see if I can make that happen. It is a tough ask. I've tried to get him on for the past 3 shows. He has turned me down every time. I got this thing going on. But if we can make that happen, guys, I'll do it. Love it. Y'all are the best. I've had a Wes for the win. I mean, I'm telling you what, this is awesome. Robert, I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for everything. I cannot wait. Robert intimidates me. He used to intimidate me until I realized how great of a guy he was. I mean, just a great guy. Wes, so don't be afraid. I want to be Wes Garrett when I grow up. Aaron, we all want to be. Aaron, by the way, I'm sorry I didn't mention this. Congratulations on that GC. Way to go. Awesome. Good job. Congratulations. That is so awesome. So anyway, y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Glad to be back. Looking forward to Chewin the BBQ Fat. Y'all have a wonderful night, and we will see you soon on next Monday night on Chewin the BBQ Fat. Have a good one, everybody.